Well, this is it. It's the Fantasy Football Championship. And if you're lucky enough to have made it this far, you are playing for it all. You're playing for the ship, you're playing for the trophy, or for the championship belt, and all the monies. And what a bizarre year it has been. Some people really deserve to be here, and some people got here with mystifyingly bad teams and a whole lot of luck. But championship's a championship, and this one's for all the marbles. So, the most pressing question on the minds of most fantasy owners this week, playing for the title, is, what the hell do I do with Todd Gurley? Is he going to play? And if he plays, is he going to be limited? If not, is it going to be John Kelly? Now C.J. Anderson's in the mix. It's as maddening as it gets. My thoughts on this, plain and simple, if Gurley plays at all, you have to roll with him. The Cardinals are absolutely tragic against the run, and I'd rather have 10 minutes of Gurley against the Cards than a whole game's worth of most other running backs in any matchup. But if he sits, I'm going with C.J. Anderson. Here's why. Kelly provides minimal pass protection, and that's something the Rams are going to need because the Cardinals are much better against the pass than they are against the run. And you don't bring somebody like C.J. Anderson into the mix at the last minute if you don't intend to use the hell out of him. CJ is a much better pass protector, and he can assimilate into a new system well and quickly. He's got a proven track record. So Anderson's my backup plan in the absence of Todd Gurley. So best of luck to everyone. Here's my start-sits for championship week. So for starters, I'm all in on Blake Jarwin, tight end Dallas Cowboys versus Tampa Bay. Jarwin has been the go-to guy in Dallas lately, or so it seems. For the last 2 games, he's brought in 11 of his 14 targets for 101 yards, and more importantly, he was targeted 7 times in both games. Rico Gathers has still not emerged to be the tight end of the future they hoped for in the draft, and Dante Schultz has had roughly half the production of Jarwin. I'm predicting that Jarwin goes for 4 catches on 8 targets for 37 yards, and I think he finds the end zone this week. Baker Mayfield, quarterback, Cleveland versus Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Bengals are haggard right now. Their defense couldn't stop a kitten with a yarn addiction, and Baker tore them up for 4 touchdowns when they last met in Week 12. Hell, the Browns might even remember that they have one of the best tight ends in the league and actually use them, like they did in Week 12 when Njoku put up a 563-1 stat line. Let's see if Greg Williams can avoid fucking this up. By the way, last week the Browns fulfilled my prediction that they would win at least 6 games this year. Number 7 could be very well on its way. My sits for Week 16? Matt Breida, running back, San Francisco versus Chicago. The Bears mauled Todd Gurley and the Rams in Week 14 and knocked me out of a playoff championship. Aaron Jones did worse than that against them last week and ended up on injured reserve. Watch the Bears do the same thing to Breida this week and take all of his berries and honey and leaves for themselves. It's going to be an empty picnic basket for Matt Breida in Week 16. Another Matt, this time Matt Stafford, quarterback, Detroit versus Minnesota. I honestly don't know why they didn't put Stafford on ice months ago. He's only thrown for over 250 yards once in the last 7 weeks. And in that time, he's thrown for 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Just dreadful. I'm not sure what all the hype about Matt Patricia is. I don't think he's a very good coach at all. You know, this week he goes up against a Minnesota defense who held him for 6.56 fantasy points in week 9. And I don't see why it's not going to be the same kind of tragedy this week. So sit Stafford. That's it, folks. Best of luck in championship week, and we'll see you at the finish line.